Do not be astonished, says Jesus, for the hour is now coming when those who are in their graves will hear the voice of God and come out. Good morning. Well, if that is the Easter hope for the last day, we perhaps shouldn't be surprised if those who've gone before us also put in some smaller reappearances along the way to heaven. It's still the Easter season, fifth Sunday of Easter today, and the implications of resurrected life for the land, for ourselves, for the way we live together are very much the theme. I've been thinking a great deal about my parents in recent weeks, particularly my father, and he's never far from my thoughts. Died 23 years ago. He would have been 99 a couple of weeks ago, and so these occasions and anniversaries, particularly the VE anniversary on Friday, are opportunities for us to weigh again and consider again the legacy of those whose life has shaped ours. Our life, of course, is a commentary upon our parents' life. At the end of the war, my father flew back from India, where he was serving with the Royal Engineers. He flew in a Liberator bomber and spent 6 months or so, as many soldiers did, in the German cities as part of the Allied recovery effort there. And I know that was an extremely testing time for him. Something of the desolation of those places triggered in him his own desolation. There was a kind of re-emergence of his own grief. He'd lost his mother when he was just a tiny baby and had never known her, and his father had died a few years before, and they also emerged into his life at the end of that time when he had great adventures, but everything was now changing, and he was considering what would become of him, and that his own loss came back to him at that time, and it shaped him, and is so often the case that when our loss bubbles back up to the surface, it's in some ways it's unbearable, but actually those times are a gift to us also, for they are opportunities for us to consider what we've been given and what we'll make of it. And in these days, don't be astonished if for you, those who you have lost have appeared again in your life, and their influence on you for good and ill, actually, you've been reckoning with again. Or perhaps for you it's a matter of fearing that you will soon lose them, and this is very much in the mood at the moment, that those that you care for and accompany you, that they are vulnerable, and that you don't know what you would do if you didn't have their presence with you. That's so real, and you may indeed be dealing with recent grief. And therefore, at these times, we should perhaps take heart that the promise is that all that is truly alive is never lost. All that's faithful and hopeful and loving in the lives we have known is the stuff of life. It is the seed corn of the new creation, and it is what will endure beyond all things. The very things that we fear losing most and that we miss most when they are gone are the very things, the Bible says, which do not die. There's a paradox there, isn't there? Faith, hope and love, these three abide. They settle and they stay and they do not leave. Those are the very things that we miss most. So friends, at this season, may you know the hope and the life of Christ growing within you, and may the reappearance of those who you have known and whose life has shaped yours be a blessing to you, and may all that is truly alive flourish still in your life. God bless you as you go to ground.